couple weeks ago, I was scrolling through Twitter to witness the abysmal ending of My Hero Academia. And then I saw this pop up in my feed out of nowhere.
You're through! Incredible!
Well, guess I'm doing this now. Dragon Ball Project Multi is a multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA. Other games you might know in the same genre include League of Legends, Pokemon Unite, and Smite. Project Multi is just a placeholder name while the game's still being developed and tested, and it's set to release next year on PC and mobile. I've spent a couple hours in the playtest on PC, and I have some thoughts I wanted to share. Quick note going into the video, you should take everything I say with a giant grain of salt because I'm definitely biased here. Dragon Ball just lights up the same part of my brain as watching a screaming kid fall over in a restaurant. The gameplay of Project Multi sees you fight alongside other players against another team of 4. Each team has 4 Gods of Destruction spread across an upper and a lower lane, with the aim being to defeat the enemy team's Gods of Destruction and capture their Dragon Ball at the opposite end of the map. The Gods of Destruction act as goals and become vulnerable when Zeno attacks them in regular intervals. Each character has their own set of properties and abilities. You start out with just the basic melee attack attached to mouse 1, so get used to hearing that for the entire game. Throughout the game, your character will level up, improving both their stats and the attacks that they unlock over time. Some characters, namely the adult Saiyans, are able to transform once they reach a certain level. I don't know if it gives you a buff, but the animation looks cool. The gameplay is pretty simple, and it's satisfying to watch the progression of your abilities over the game. I think it definitely has the potential to get repetitive after a while, but since none of the characters have a steep learning curve, it's easy to alleviate any boredom just by swapping a character. Towards the end of the game, a giant enemy appears in the middle of the map.
Monkey.
Whichever team lands the last hit on the Great Ape gets a massive advantage towards the end of the game, as both of the enemy team's goals remain open for a much longer time, giving them a huge opening to defeat their Gods of Destruction and steal their Dragon Ball to win the game. Honestly, I expected this to pretty much decide the entire game, similarly to how Zapdos and Rayquaza do in Pokemon Unite, but I found that my team was able to pull the game back from losing the Great Ape on more than one occasion, so it might just be more of a balanced mechanic here. In this game mode you also get helpers, auxiliary abilities that can provide a buff over a certain area or give you an extra ability, like Mercenary Tau giving you a mobility move. I think the game would do well to cover more things in the tutorial though, like I had no clue what skill cards were until I actively looked into them. It turns out that the game automatically chooses and assigns your skill cards unless you set your skill cards to manual. I did this for one game, had no clue how to use them, and ended up at a disadvantage because of it. Towards the end of the testing period, they added a new game mode called Land Grab. You just capture a point on the map and keep it under your control to score points. First one to 500 wins. It's nothing special, and I think that's the general consensus considering I had to spend 10 minutes just to find a game. I'm not sure how well the game will perform on release, because there were several points during the playtest where I'm almost certain that I was playing against bots. Looking on Steam charts, it looked like the playtest peaked at just over 2,000 players, and while it could definitely be worse, it could also be better. I really like how much of the series is represented here. You see things from almost every part of Dragon Ball. Enemies like the Pilaf Machine, Bear Bandit, and the Great Ape in the middle of the map from original Dragon Ball. Mini-bosses like Nappa and Android 16 from Dragon Ball Z. Obviously the Gods of Destruction, Angels, and Zeno from Dragon Ball Super. And the movies get representation since Cooler is included in the starting roster. And for GT we have... the characters fit into one of 3 team roles: Damage, Tanks, and Technical. The game had 10 characters available for players to try out during the beta. Goku, Piccolo, Android 18, and Future Trunks for damage, Vegeta, Zamasu, and Cooler are the tanks, and Krillin, Majin Buu, and Kid Gohan are the technical characters. All of the characters play differently enough from one another to be unique, but they're all pretty simple to pick up and play, so the barrier to entry is really low. One glaring issue with the characters that I picked up on from the beta is that the tanks are absolutely busted. They're easily the strongest characters to play because they deal a similar amount of damage as the damage characters and are able to heal themselves at the same time, making them nearly unkillable. Project Multi borrows a pretty big feature from Overwatch.
Hi there.
Role queue. Before entering a game you need to choose a role to play as, but if you want to just get into a game, you can pick flex and play any role that needs filling. Since tanks are broken, queuing for them takes the longest. All of the characters and visuals look great. The models and animations are all on point, which is a relief considering how Goku and Vegeta look in Fortnite. I really like the small touches like the textures on their clothes. Like Vegeta's spandex has a weird scale-like pattern that you can see when the light catches it. All of the characters have their own palette swaps, but some of them have more unique skins that are rarer in the capsule loot boxes. There are some great inclusions here, like Goku and Piccolo from the driving filler episode, Vegeta's pink shirt, and Krillin's white suit. I never thought I'd see the day that Android 18's original denim jacket would be an alt skin, and a tracksuit from Super would be the default. Fuck, I'm getting old. The other available cosmetics include intro cutscenes, finishers, and victory poses. These are all way rarer than the palette swap skins, so chances are you're getting a tracksuit instead of something cool. But how do you buy these cosmetics? I hope you're ready to grind for 3 separate types of currency. Project Multi has Zenny, Hero Coins, and Dragon Gems. Zenny can be used alongside experience points to level up characters to get capsules, Hero Coins can be used to buy characters, capsules, and helpers, and Dragon Gems seem like the ones that can be bought for actual money and can be used to buy more valuable capsules and unlock more characters. Speaking of unlocking characters, you can use the Hero Coins to unlock characters permanently. Each character costs 6,000 Hero Coins, but there are some restricted characters like Piccolo, Cooler, and Kid Gohan, and you can only buy them with Hero Coins after already spending 28,000 Hero Coins.
But I want it now!
This is so dumb. The characters are already locked behind the currency, they don't need locking behind another wall. If you want to make them more difficult to unlock, just increase their price. Also, I think it's a bit shit that you can't just buy the cosmetics. I remember back when Overwatch was good, you could just buy the cosmetics with currency if you didn't get them through the loot boxes. I'm hoping this is true for Multi's full release, but I'm not optimistic. I don't have a ton of experience with MOBAs, but I thought the playtest was pretty fun. I think the game will need a lot of support when it comes out if Bandai doesn't want it to die immediately. It needs regular updates with new characters, cosmetics, and game mods to stop it from getting stale. Other things I'd suggest are bringing the game to consoles. If this thing can run on phones, then the current generation of consoles will have no problem with it. Maybe not the Switch. Either buff the other roles or nerf the tanks. They're way too broken, and I really didn't care about playing as the other characters as a result. And if you want it to work well as a team-based game, add in-game voice chat so that we can communicate with teammates. Obviously you need to have the option to turn it off because it'll just devolve into this.
Has appeared!
I'll come out of my house and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick!
And let me bring my progress and unlocks from the playtest to the full game. I got a ton of other cosmetics while I was grinding for Pink Shirt Vegeta, but overall after the playtest, I'm cautiously optimistic. All that's left now is to see how Bandai responds to the feedback.